and welcome. In 332 BCE, Alexander the Great began controlling Egypt for years to come, although he was not of Egyptian descent. That's him right there, the worried little man. He managed to convince his troops to march alongside him on the longest campaign in history to the end of the world. He also managed to control Egypt without actually invading. He didn't require an invasion. Not one drop of blood was shed that day. How did he end up their leader? He used his leadership skills. He decided to appeal to Egypt's good nature and logic by attending to their passions so as to gain their trust and loyalty. And so he gained their trust by worshiping their gods, praying at their temples, and most importantly, evicting their invaders. So it's a matter of accessibility to their leader and not a matter of abject authority. Although he entered Egypt with an army, he managed to control it, to govern it. Now this brings me to my point, strength-based leadership. Since I was in primary school, a lot of my teachers told me to enhance my leadership skills. And I was so young at that time, so I didn't actually understand anything they were trying to say. But the challenge was on. Strength-based leadership is a new trend that enhances 21st century skills. It is easy to find a person's deficiencies, but it is imperative that you find their strengths and build upon them. For example, if a construction worker wanted his staff to paint an additional wall, he can just demand them and tell them, go paint sector 7 too. And they would do it, because if they disagree, they would get fired. But if he wanted to express his wishes by saying, guys, I know you've been working hard all day. I know, because I've been watching you. You guys do it like no other. I am proud to be working with such creative people like you. And I know it's too much to ask, but there's an additional wall we have to paint. And I want my best group on the job. That man would hear many creative ideas being suggested to him just because he has inspired them. Another example would be in my school baseball tournament. My team was losing, so at halftime, I decided to give a motivational speech. Yes, I'm that kind of guy. So what I told them was, guys, I know that we're not in the best position right now, but I believe in every single one of you. I know you can get out there and do your best, but the important thing is you need to have fun, because losing, there is no shame in it. We ended up winning, but why? Was it because I told them to go have fun, or was it because I have inspired them? Hannibal of Carthage used to do something very fascinating to his followers. He would take a chain and put it on a table, and then ask him, what would happen if I push this chain off the table? He'd hear many answers. It would go right, it would go up, it would go left, down, and so on. But then in the end, he would tell them that we don't know. We don't know what will happen. And then he'd take the chain from one end and walk with it across the room. And then he'd ask, where would it go now? They will say, it will follow you. It's the same thing in leadership. If you demand people to do things, they will do it, but you don't know how they will do it and the quality of the work. But if you decide to direct them, lead them, Work amongst them. They will work for you with a smile on their faces and lots of love in their hearts. This is the diagram right here. If you push people, this is what you'll get. And if you lead people, this is what you get. Unleash your talents. Now, strength-based leadership doesn't really have to be teamwork, working together. It can also happen in your daily life. I remember when I was in grade 3, I heard about this person who was so lonely, he became a bully just to gain attention. And one day, a girl appeared in his life. She built his self-confidence. And then they never spoke again for years. That fellow became the most popular person in the school. And I was, of course, one of his friends. And on the last day of school, I asked him, what was the highlight of your year? And this is how he responded. That's the cheesiest question I've ever heard, mate. But since you need to know, it was thanking the person who made me who I am today. Without her, I would have ended up alone. I was amazed by how one person can change the fate of another just by commenting on their strengths. I wanted the same thing. I wanted to make a change. And so I decided, and I learned that day, to help others just so they wouldn't go through what my friend went through. I learned to compliment on people's strengths and help them get past their obstacles. Now, when leaders generate safety, remarkable things happen. The thing is, if you don't let people be themselves, you will never have followers. If I asked you to trust me, would you do it? No. Because it was an order. But what if I asked for cooperation? The correct answer is yes. Because when I ask for cooperation, you feel like you're part of a team. You feel like you have control. You feel like you have power. I remember once, in my old school, a student just decided to take a drink in the middle of the lesson without permission. And the teacher overreacted and yelled at him. I had to interfere. I asked her, why don't you treat us more like human beings and less like information processing robots? She responded by saying, thank you. She responded by saying, if I don't follow the rules, I will get punished. What my ears heard, was a follower ruled by fear. And the result is obvious. There is no trust. These are the key things to success, to being a great leader. Parents are exactly like leaders. What does a parent do? They create opportunities. They build self-confidence. They offer discipline when needed. Also, their children could grow up and achieve better than what they could have done. It's the human dream. Every subsequent generation has to be better than the last. Great leaders want exactly the same thing. Simply, a strength may be any quality of these: passionate, resilient, highly valued, useful, and impactful. By making strength-based leadership a part of your life and embedding it into your education, we generate the leaders of tomorrow across a wide swath of society to undertake the unique, demanding challenges of the eminent. Thank you very much.